What is going on, everyone? Thank you so much for checking me out today, and welcome to our live webinar of Help, I Want to Buy a Home. So 2016 is going to be a great year for all of us, and I wish you so much success this year, whether it's in buying a home, starting a business, your jobs, your careers, your family. I wish you so much success. I hope everyone had a great holiday. My holiday was really good. I went down and spent time with my family down in down in Houston. So I went down for Thanksgiving and for Christmas, and it was a pretty good time. Got some good food and just a great time to hang around with everyone. Um, Again, welcome. I have some great information for you today. The fact that you're here really shows a lot, and it shows that you are serious about making a change in your future. I'm not sure how everybody got here. I saw a few emails come in from different places, but we had links everywhere. You probably saw it on my website or on Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, YouTube, Facebook. It could have been anywhere, but the fact is that you are here, and that is a really good thing. So we're gonna jump right in here in just a moment. I see that there are more people coming in, and so I wanna just wait a few minutes. But again, you are at the right place right now at the right time, and after this 30 minutes or 45 minutes or so, hopefully you will be equipped with the knowledge that you need to make this decision in the near future. And by the near future, I mean sometime this year, because it is 2016. This is the year of change. This is the year of greatness, and that is included for everyone. Well, we have a lot of viewers here today from all different parts of Texas, and oh, we have a few from different states. We have Tennessee and Georgia, and oh wow. Thank you all again. If you're just now tuning in, thank you for attending this webinar. Again, I have some great information for you on purchasing a home, and so we're gonna get started here. All right. And this is live, so if anything happens or any little glitches, I apologize. We are live. We're broadcasting. I'm broadcasting on YouTube, broadcasting on Google Plus, on my website as well. So we are live, and things happen. So again, I apologize if anything takes place between now and the end of this, but should be a pretty smooth ride. So I'm going to switch over to my PowerPoint here, because I have some great information to share with you. Okay, so if you are watching today and you do have questions, please feel free to text your questions to 214-586-0096. Okay, when you do text me your question, be sure to include your name and location. And if you just want to put your first name, it's totally okay, but be sure to use your name and location. And if you're on Twitter and you want to ask a question, just use hashtag Chastin J Miles, and I will get to your questions. Okay. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Chastin Miles, and hopefully you've seen me somewhere. But I am a real estate agent or realtor, whatever you want to call it. But basically, I help people purchase and sell homes in the Dallas area, in Texas, and worldwide. I work for a company, Rogers Healy and Associates, and we do have a global presence. And so we have partner agents all across the country who can pretty much help you with any real estate need that you have, whether it be here in the United States or if it's in another country or in another continent, whatever, we can help you with that. And I love the company that I work for. It gives me lots of resources to be able to help people on a more global scale than just in my neighborhood. Now, I do a lot of work here in the DFW area and in Texas as well. So I'm very familiar with real estate here. But like I said, I have partner agents all across the country and all across the world who can help you with anything. So let's go ahead and get into it, because I don't want to hold you for too long. But basically, what I'm going to cover on today's webinars is going to be geared towards you actually purchasing a home this year. Now, this isn't gonna be salesy. I'm not trying to sell you on my services, even though that was a little bit salesy what I just did about my company. But this isn't the intent. Like, it's not to sell you on what I can do for you or how I can help you, but it's mostly just to educate you so that you are familiar with what you're going to have to do when you are ready to purchase a home. And so that if you do have questions, of course, I'm going to be here to answer them. Sorry, but I'm not trying to sell you on my services or anything like that. So if you thought that this was a sales video or a sales webinar and I'm going to actually pull your credit card out, don't worry about that. Take a deep breath and just sit back and watch it. Now, if you are watching this webinar, hopefully you're in the position to where you've already made the decision that you want to purchase a home. Whether you're renting right now, you may be living with family, you know, have roommates, whatever it is, but you've made that decision that you are ready to purchase a home. So this is for you. Let's say that you have been in a home for a while and you're not really familiar with how the process is these days. This is also for you. I do have some real estate agents on here, and they are newer agents and they're a little unfamiliar with how the process works. So welcome and thank you for checking me out as well. But if any of those pertain to you, then this is the right place for you to be. So what I'm going to cover today is why buy a house now? So why do I think you should purchase a home in 2016? I'm also going to go over the actual real estate process. So what it's like to actually purchase a home, what you're going to experience, the things that you're going to have to do, all that good stuff. I'm going to go over financing, which is the big thing. Everybody is concerned about money. So I'm going to go over financing and how the whole financing process works, what type of loans are out there, and what you'll have to expect with that. We're going to talk about how much it actually costs to buy a home. Money, money, money. How much does it cost? Does it cost, is it zero down? Is it a lot down? Is it 20%, 10%, 5%? We're going to cover all of that. And I'm going to also touch on assistance programs. So I get a lot of people that ask me about down payment assistance programs and what programs are out there in certain areas, or if you want to rehab, whatever. I do have information on those types of programs for you. And then what you actually need to do, or how can you check it to see if you're eligible to purchase a home, what you may need to do to your credit or anything else. So we're going to talk about that. And then at the end of this webinar, I do have a free gift for you just for attending the webinar that I think you're going to really like, and that it will be very beneficial to you. So again, some great information. Make sure you stay tuned to everything because we are really going to hit it, okay? Again, if you have questions, feel free to text me at 214-586-0096. Include your name and your location of where you are, and I'll be sure to get to your questions, you know, during the actual webinar here, okay? Follow me on all my social media networks. If you are on social media, I'm on pretty much every network you can think of, and I post on them very often. So Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Periscope, Snapchat, and pretty much any other social network you can think of. I post on them regularly, and I post some great content. So if you are active on social media and like the whole social media thing, that's where you can go and follow me. It's Chastin J Miles on every social network, and you should be able to find me there. All right, so why buy a house now? Okay, pretty much the reason why you should buy a house now, and now more than any other year, is because 2015 literally proved to be a very record year in real estate. So if you've been following real estate, you've heard about many of the booming markets around the country, Texas being a big market for real estate. Home values have really soared, and they are on the uprise even further. So with that being said, it's best to get in while you can. Many people saw how 2015 was a record year for real estate. We have very low interest rates. There is an influx of buyers that we haven't seen really since the recession, since before the recession. And lenders right now are offering more and more programs and incentives to those wanting to purchase a home, therefore making it easier to buy a home. In North Texas alone, which is where I am, I'm in the Dallas area, we've seen increases in value year over year as much as 12% and even higher in certain areas. So with that, I mean, with 2015 being such the year that it was, I can tell you now there are a lot of investors that don't live in the country who are actually really looking in on purchasing a lot of real estate in 2016. So with that being said, you really want to capitalize on it while you can. Um, Prices are still going to continue to rise, and therefore it's best for you to get in while you can, while things are still as low as they are, because you're going to look back next year or look back the year after that and say, dang, I wish I would have purchased then while I had the opportunity to, because now what may be 250,000 or it may be 150,000, it's up another 100 grand. And it's going to be really disappointing for a lot of people, especially those who want to get in something newer or more updated and pay a fair price for it. Also, why you should buy a house now is it really proves financial growth. Okay, purchasing a home is a very big decision, but you also have to be able to purchase a home financially. Investing in a home really improves your financial know-how in life. I mean, investments teach you many lessons, whether you invest in stocks, in businesses, in real estate. You will learn some valuable lessons along the way when you invest. Even the fact that you were able to save money for a down payment by itself shows some financial discipline. So therefore, when you purchase a home, you purchase what you can afford. Make sure that you take a hard look at your finances and purchase something that really works for your life. This decision you make about a home will be one of those that you're going to want to protect. So you're going to want to protect your investment. So buy something that you like, or that you can really grow into. Lastly, you want to purchase a home because purchasing is so much better than renting, guys. I just want to tell everybody that, and I know that if you've watched my videos on YouTube or read my blog posts on Medium or on my website, you've seen me preach about this over and over again. You will get none of these benefits, such as the financial growth, such as the stability, none of that stuff by renting. Someone else will, because essentially you're paying someone else's mortgage, and you're just paying them rent. I encourage you, if you haven't been on my YouTube channel, go and watch my video. It's called "If You're Renting, You're Paying a Mortgage," and it just talks about that. It just talks about how if you're actually renting a place, you're paying someone else's mortgage. And that's a big thing for people to wrap their head around, because it doesn't seem like that. But apartment complexes, homes, everything, someone has some type of financial obligation to that, whether it be a mortgage or whether they spent a huge amount of cash. And I can guarantee you the money that you're paying in rent every single month is not the actual, they're putting some money in their pocket. So you're not paying the whole mortgage amount. You may be even paying a little bit more. In certain situations, very slim to none, you'll be paying less. But when someone rents out a property, they're most likely looking to gain a profit. And so you're the one that they're gaining the profit from. So just keep that in mind. Okay. There's some misconceptions actually about owning a property versus renting that when I released the video, a lot of people really came out to me and said, Chastin, I don't necessarily know if I want to rent a prop. I don't know if I necessarily want to buy a property because I don't want to move to the suburbs, or I don't want to get something that I don't want, or it's so expensive. And I appreciate the feedback, but I can tell you that it comes from a place of either being misinformed or not educated about the whole process. If you're living in an apartment complex and you're in the center of Dallas, most likely there is a building in walking distance to you that may look like an apartment complex, but those are actually for sale. So those are known as condos. If you're renting a home, you know that you can probably purchase a home on that same street or that same subdivision. That's not in the suburbs. You don't have to focus on getting something that you don't want. A lot of people don't know what they can afford because they really haven't had someone look at it. So you don't really know if you can afford the home right next to you or not. But if you can afford the rent for the area, you most likely can afford the mortgage for the area, because 9 times out of 10, your mortgage is going to come out cheaper than your actual rent amount. Okay, and a lot of people think buying is so much more expensive, but I'm really going to show you how buying can work in your favor, especially if you're renting a home right now. Year over year, as home prices start well, as they continue to rise, rents are also gonna rise. If you're living in an apartment, you probably noticed you get the notice every time it comes time for your lease to be renewed, saying how much your rent is going to go up unless you sign for 18 months, 24 months, 16 months, or sign for 3 or 4 more months. Then we'll keep you more stable. But you're going to be the one paying for those increases, versus if you're owning, those increases are going to be paying you, which is something we refer to as equity. But if you're owning and your property's increasing in value, say like that 12% that I spoke about, that money is going in your pocket. Okay, so yeah, so that's pretty much why you should focus on purchasing right now versus waiting and renting and all that type of stuff. Okay, so now let's talk about the market. So to decide when you should buy, you need to focus on how the market's actually doing in the area. Oh, we got a question here, and I promise I won't keep doing this and interrupting, but I just noticed we had like 5 text messages come in. Okay, so a question from Crystal in Dallas: how much do you have to make per month to buy a house? Really, Crystal, that's going to determine on how much of a house you're trying to purchase. So depending on the actual home price, that's going to determine how much you need to make a month. But wherever you are renting at right now, I mean, most likely your rent is market value. So that kind of shows you how much the area goes for. And so that'll kind of be an indication of how much you would have to spend on your mortgage per month, maybe a little bit more, give or take. But there is a certain percentage of your income that can be used for a mortgage, and a lender doesn't typically like you to see like to see you go over that percentage. So it's just really going to depend on the price point of the property that you're trying to purchase. All right, so I hope that answered your question. If it didn't, feel free to text again and I will be sure to answer that. Okay. Okay, so again, long-term financial growth. Owning a property is going to give you long-term financial growth because properties gain equity. And if you're not familiar with what equity is, basically, here's an example. It basically says if you paid X amount of money for a property and now the property is worth Y amount of money, then the difference in that is the money that you have made on the property if you were to sell that property. Okay, so this is really good because especially if you are a millennial right now on the webinar and you are planning for things such as your retirement and your, after you leave your job, a house is a great investment for that, because I know most of the times we're just taught about 401ks or bonds or Social Security, but your home is also one of those investments that can lead you to long-term financial growth here in the future. Even if you wanted to hold on to it, if you wanted to sell it, if you wanted to tear it down and build something else, you still have the land. It gives you some real long-term financial growth on it. All right, and we also talked about how owning a home is better than renting. Still, guys, if you have questions, feel free to text 214-586-0096. Include your name and your location on it. Okay, here's a chart that I wanted to show you all. A lot of people, when they look into purchasing, they think about what was historically said. So what their parents might have said or what their grandparents might have said. But I really wanted you to look at the numbers that we're experiencing now as far as like income goes. So as far as renting versus buying, these are some percentages for you. Percentage of income needed to afford a medium home historically has been 22%. Now it's only 15.3%. Okay. So hopefully this chart can kind of tell you something about how times have changed and how more people have been able to afford homes and are able to purchase homes versus renting right now. All right. So now I want to talk about the process of actually purchasing a home. Okay. The first thing that I like people to take note of when they are looking to actually purchase a home is decide that you want to buy. Like make the real decision that you want to purchase a home. You are the only one who can make that decision. And so I can't talk you into it. I mean, I can present to you the facts and how things are going, how the market is, but you have to be the one ready to really purchase the. Okay, so decide when you want to buy, or not, not even when, decide that you want to buy, decide that you want to actually make that decision. Next, you want to contact a realtor that you trust. Okay, I don't encourage people at all to try to purchase a home on their own. There are lots of contracts involved, and us as realtors, many different people that we work with, including the mortgage lender and the title company and the insurance companies, just to make that you are safe in the process. So I don't encourage you to purchase a home on on your own unless you really know what you're doing. So know how to read the contract, know what all the contract says, and you will have to open up to a realtor. Okay, contact a realtor and make sure that you can trust them. Excuse me, because you will have to open up to them. Like you're gonna have to talk about your finances. There will be discussions about your credit, all of that good stuff. So make sure that the realtor that you are using is someone that you trust. Okay. The next step is getting approved for a mortgage. All right, unless you are paying cash for your home, you want to make sure that you get an approval or a pre-approval through a licensed loan officer. Okay, most of the time, loan officers have to tell you that they are licensed, and if they're not licensed, make sure you're not doing business with them. But they are going to be the one that are going to be managing your finances, checking your credit, looking into everything. So you want to make sure that they are licensed, but it's really important that you get a pre-approval. Okay. The thing that the pre-approval does is it examines all of your finances and your credit and everything and tells you how much money how much home you can actually afford. I know that a lot of people tend to kind of get on the internet and search homes and say, oh, this one's only 150,000, so I can afford that, or this one's 300,000, so I can afford that. But there are many things that go into your actual monthly payment. And so it's really important that you get a pre-approval so that they can give you the hard number that you want to look at homes in, just to make sure you're not wasting your time looking at homes that you may not even want to pay a certain amount for a month. Okay. Next, what you're going to do is after you get pre-approved, that's when you're going to start shopping for homes. Okay, so you'll get you'll get with your realtor, and y'all will actually look at homes, or I'm pretty sure you're going to start looking at them online first, but that's when you're going to shop for homes. And when you're doing that, you want to definitely be smart and be realistic about the homes that you are shopping for. So take into account the location that you're in. If you don't want to be in the suburbs, don't shop for homes in the suburbs. I just feel like when people start to look at homes that are not what they want, that's when they get frustrated with the process and just kind of give up on it. So definitely make sure the location's right, make sure the amenities are right, the schools, the churches, and it's convenient to where you work, to where you hang out. Tech Dallas, DFW is a pretty big metroplex, and so if you're getting a home that's about 30 minutes away and you have to be to work at 8 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock in the morning, that's most likely not just going to be a 30-minute drive. that drive is going to take a lot longer. So when you are searching for the home, just make sure that you are realistic as to where you work and where you like to hang out at, and make sure that it's something that you really want to, invest in. Also, make sure that you're comfortable with the actual home. So, and the reason why I say that is because I get a lot of calls about, oh, well, can you help me get a foreclosure or a fixer upper? And I will tell you, those homes do require work. Yeah, most of the time they are below market value, but they are going to require a significant amount of work. And so make sure that you are well equipped to do that work. If you're going to look for a foreclosure or you want to get a fixer upper, just make sure that you are willing to do that work and that you have the funds available to do that work. Okay, because it's going to take a lot of work from you. So that's something that I always want to make people make sure that they understand. Okay, back to the PowerPoint here. So those are just the actual processes written out for you. And hopefully some of y'all are taking notes out there, because I'm about to get into some really important information. But always make sure that you make that decision that you want to buy. Contact a real estate agent. So you can give me a call, or if you want me to partner you with someone else, I have recommendations for lots of agents all across the world. Next, you want to get pre-approved for a loan. I have great recommendations for that too. Next, you're going to shop for a home, and that's the fun part that everybody likes. And then you're going to make an offer. So you're going to make an offer on the actual home that you want to buy. Making the offer doesn't really obligate you to purchase the home, but it's showing the other side that you have strong interest in it, and it's going to be a matter of getting the offer accepted. Okay, once your offer is accepted, then you're going to start negotiating. And if you see next to number 5, 6, 7, and 8 here, I actually put statuses. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because if you search homes on the internet, or if you're linked up in the MLS system, or with your realtor, they may use these terms like it's under option period, or there's a contract pending, or the home is sold. This just basically means this is what they're doing in the process. So if they're negotiating, or if you're the one negotiating on the actual terms of the home and repairs and everything, you are in active option period. Okay, and this is after your contract has been accepted, and now y'all are negotiating on anything else that needs to be negotiated on before you enter into pending. Now, when you're in pending, that's when you're going to be working more closely with your loan officer, to actually get your loan finalized, and for them to give you those hundreds of thousands of dollars to be able to purchase the home. Lastly is closing, which is the happiest day for everyone, and that's when your status changes over to sold. Okay. All right. So now we're going to get into the fun part, and that is financing, because everybody wants to know about financing and what they have to do to get a actual home. Okay. Now, before I dive into the loan options that are out, or not loan options, but loan programs that are out there, I want to kind of tell you about how you can actually purchase a home. So there's cash. Of course, cash is king. So if you have cash enough to pay for the home, you can definitely do that. You can take out a loan, which is going to be referred to as a mortgage. So I don't mean go and take out a personal loan, but I mean this is a mortgage. There's owner finance out there, and there's also rent to own. Okay. Um, so on owner finance and rent to own, though, I would be extremely careful about those two things. And I get emails and people inquire about owner finance properties, or if there's any rent to own properties. But let me just tell you a little bit about those types of properties. Most of the time, you're going to be working with the owner of the property or the landlord of the property, and you're going to be entering into a contract with them on their actual home. So they're still going to be the one that has the mortgage obligation of the home, and you're going to be paying them. Most of the time, the owner finance ones are going to have a very high interest rate. so higher than normal, they're going to have a huge down payment on them. So when I get into down payments, you're going to really see how much you have to put down for a home. And I'll tell you, on owner finances, or owner finance deals, your down payment is going to be significantly higher. Then on rent to own, those programs are just kind of dependent on how the landlord wants to do it. How do they want to put you in a rent to own situation? Sometimes they will let the rent amount of, or a certain portion of your rent go towards the down payment, or they'll let you rent it for a year and give you the option to buy after a year. But I really wouldn't focus on this either. I would really try to focus on getting the actual mortgage and making the purchase that way instead of doing a owner finance or a rent to own. So on the mortgage side, there are four programs that are very common and that are out there. Okay, so, and you've probably heard of these if you've walked into a bank or maybe just even been on Facebook and seen advertisements for lenders. But they are conventional loans, FHA loans, VA loans, and USDA loans. And they all have different down payments and they all have different requirements, but they are all available to you. Okay, so when you speak with a loan officer, you two are going to sit there, and based on your situation and based on your finances, y'all are going to choose the best loan product for you. Okay, so on conventional loans, you need a credit score of 640 or higher. Okay, your down payment amount for the conventional loan, at the minimum, it's going to be 5%. Certain lenders will go down to 5%. Some won't, but typically you're going to see 10 to 20%. And this is of the actual purchase price of the home. So when you're looking at homes and you plan on doing a conventional loan, this is going to tell you how much you're going to have to put down on the actual home. But it does require a 640 credit score. So keep that in mind. Next, we have FHA loans, which is a loan, FHA, Federal Housing Administration. So it's a government insured loan. And this is pretty much in case of default by the borrower. So if you default on the loan, you're going to owe the government. And, the government's not somebody that you really want to owe on a home. But it does have a very low credit score requirement, typically a 580. Some lenders will tell you the minimum is 620. But some of them can go down to 580. I have some lender partners that can get you an FHA loan for 580. Okay, down payment is going to be 3.5%, which is very awesome for a lot of people because you won't have to come out with so much money up front. So down payment is just 3.5% on an FHA loan. Now, something that an FHA loan does have is PMI, which is mortgage insurance on the loan. So every single month, you're actually going to pay a premium on your actual loan amount for your PMI. Okay, so that's only with the FHA loans, or if you do a certain loan with a lower down payment, you will have a mortgage insurance payment on that as well. Next is VA loans. VA loans are going to be your veterans loans. So minimum credit score on that. I mean, that one has the down payment of 0 down, and so that's what's really attractive. And the minimum credit score is a 580 as well. So if you are affiliated with any other armed forces, you most likely can qualify for a VA loan. So it's a really, really awesome loan. And then lastly is USDA. So this loan is typically in rural areas, so outside of the city, developing areas, kind of farmlands, stuff like that. But as Dallas is expanding the way that it is, it's making a lot of areas qualify for USDA, where they're building some really awesome, beautiful homes. So this one has a minimum credit score of 620 with 0 down as well. So now, I will tell you that's all I'm going to talk about with the loan products, because I am not a loan officer, and I have loan officers that can help you with that, but I'm not a loan officer, and so I don't want to give you any, or I don't want to go too deep into it and give you some wrong information, but I will happily give you my information that I have for my loan officers. All right, I'm going to go back to the questions now. I have Jared in Arlington. He says he's in a lease now that will be over in May. How long does the process take? All right, Jared. So the process for actually from start to finish on closing on a home, I'm going to tell you, block out about 45 to 60 days. And the reason you want to do that is, it's going to take a certain amount of time for your actual loan to get done. There's lots of things that the lenders have to do, and then you have to shop, and then you want negotiating time and all that good stuff. So I would say start your process about 60 days sooner than you actually need to move. Once you get a pre-approval, that is valid for really 90 days. And so you don't want to push it to where you're gonna have to keep running you don't want to start too early to where you have to keep running your credit over and over again. But you don't want to start too late to where you need to move out of your place and stay in a hotel, or you need to renew your lease. So I would say about 45 to 60 days. Okay, I have another question from Mandy in Corsicana. How much does a realtor charge? It's a great question, Mandy. Thank you for asking that. A realtor, if you're on the buying side, so say you were to hire me to help you out in your home purchase, I wouldn't charge you anything. A realtor's commission is typically on the seller side. So whoever's selling the home is the one paying that. But if you are doing something like a owner finance or a rent to own, and you want the assistance of a realtor, you're gonna most likely have to pay their commission, because that's gonna be something where the homeowner may not want to pay the agent's commission because they didn't hire an agent. And so, those are gonna be kind of the only times where you'll have to pay for a realtor. So that's nothing that you have to worry about. All right. And I'm glad you asked that question, because I'm going to get into, the actual costs that are associated with purchasing a home. So that leads us right up to that. So how much does it cost? So basically in a buying transaction, you're going to be responsible for your down payment and your closing costs. All right. So closing costs are one thing, and I really don't like to get anyone really hooked up on closing costs too much, because as far as the negotiations go in a home purchase, closing costs can be worked out in the contract to where the seller can pay the closing costs, or you can split them in half, or there are lots of different scenarios out there. So a lot of my clients honestly have not had to pay closing costs on a lot of properties that they've purchased just this past year. And so I really don't want you to get too hung up on closing costs. But in the instance that you did have to pay closing costs, that is a cost that's associated that you have to pay at closing. So you don't have to pay that up front once you start looking. And then there's your down payment. Okay. And again, you don't have to pay a realtor commission. So it costs you nothing to work with me. All right. So the monthly cost. So on your actual monthly cost, and this is where I really like to break down or look into renting versus owning, is the monthly breakdown. Okay. So there's your mortgage, and then there's hazard insurance. So, homeowners insurance, you can say. Then there's real estate taxes. So it's the taxes that are associated with your property, and taxes are different everywhere. So your taxes are not going to be the same as someone else's taxes that may live, 20 miles away. Next is your mortgage insurance. So I spoke about excuse me, spoke about mortgage insurance with your FHA loans. So that's going to also be included in the monthly breakdown. And lastly, there are your HOA dues, or your homeowners association dues. So if you live in a condo or townhome community, you're most likely definitely going to have HOA dues. Or if you live in a newer community that's developing, even in subdivisions, there's HOA dues. So HOA dues are not everywhere though. It just really depends on where your home is located and what they are doing in the actual community. So, but all of these expenses are included in your one payment that you make, with the exception of HOA dues. That's most of the time paid separately. But you know, you're gonna pay one payment just like you pay with your rent payment. This is an example on a home that's $135,000. So you can see that the mortgage amount is $652.09. And of course, this can vary based on whatever interest rate you get associated with your loan. And interest rates go high and they go low, but they're most likely going to be going higher. So now is the best time to kind of get locked into an interest rate, so you don't wake up next month and the interest rate is 0.5% higher, and you know you're wishing that you would have acted back today. So then there's your hazard insurance, then your real estate taxes. This loan does have private mortgage insurance on it, so that's coming out to be $91.57, but it's giving you a total of $1,018.58, which is, like, you're gonna be extremely shocked when I tell you this. That's actually a real scenario for one of my clients, and that's a 4-bedroom house, and it's a really nice home. So that just goes to show you what you can be paying on a 4-bedroom house monthly, with all of those things already included in it. So I know a big misconception is, oh, there's the mortgage and then there's the insurance and then there's this and that and all these things on top of them, which is true, but everything is in that one payment. So you know you don't have to be so worried about that. And you see on that scenario for the home that was 135,000, that was 4 bedrooms, they were coming out less than 1,100 a month. You know, pretty impressive. Even if you wanted to get roommates, you know, say like the amount was too much for you, you still have 4 bedrooms that you can rent out for a decent amount and cover your mortgage. See, you gotta think real smart about this stuff. Like I said in the beginning, real estate is an investment, and so you have to think of it like an investment. Whether that means holding on to it, flipping it, renting it out, think of it like an investment, because it is an investment. It's just an investment that you can live in and that you can make your own, and nobody's going to tell you that you can't. Okay. Question from Jared in Arlington again. If I put more money down, what will that do? So Jared, basically, if you put more money down on the home, what that's going to do is lower your principal, and I mean pretty much lower your payment a month. So you can pay it down quicker, you can pay more monthly, you can do whatever you want to do, but essentially if you put more money down, it's just going to lower your monthly payment. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, and back over here to my PowerPoint. See what's next. Ho ho ho! Down payment assistance programs. Well, not just even down payment, but just assistance programs. Now, y'all, there are many programs out there. I mean, over 30 different programs that you can probably qualify for, and they all have different qualification requirements. I will tell you qualifications such as where you live, the type of home that you're buying, if you've served on this, if you've done that. And so I can't really tell you one specific assistance program that you're going to qualify for, because there are so many. But I can tell you that they are out there, and the best way to see if you can qualify for an assistance program is to speak with a lender that specializes in that program. And I have lenders for this. So I have lenders that I work with departments that just focus on assistance programs. So whether you need down payment assistance, if you need sales price assistance, whatever it is, there are resources that are available that can help you with that. As a realtor, I mean, I can go through all of the assistance programs with you and show you the requirements of them, but it's gonna take so long for me to do that, and everybody would probably get mad and leave the webinar. But if it's something that you're interested in, I do have information about that. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm actually going to give you a bit of information, because I think down payment assistance programs and assistance programs are really important to people, and that's a big reason why you are here. So first, you need to decide, are you eligible to purchase a home? Okay, and you need to check your eligibility. All right, before you can know if you qualify for any assistance programs, we need to check and see where you are at this present moment. Okay, so you may have a good job, you may have money saved up, but you may have credit issues, or you may have excellent credit but not a lot of money saved up. Everyone's situation is completely different from one another, and so we need to really check your eligibility requirements. Okay. So with that being said, I have a special gift for you, like I promised at the beginning of the webinar. But wait, before I get into the special gift, I want to make sure I answered everyone's questions. Oh, Charles in Dallas. Charles wants to know, do you know anyone who does credit repair? Haha, great question, Charles. Yes, I do know someone that does credit repair, but I'm really glad that I read that when I did, because I want to tell you all, when it comes to mortgage financing, you really need to have a lender look at your credit report. Oftentimes I have people who will sign up for credit repair programs, or who will begin credit repair before they've even spoken with a lender. Now, lenders have different requirements than a credit card company or a car company. So there are certain things that a lender can look past when you're trying to purchase a home that another company may not look past. So before you put in all the work of repairing your credit, have someone take a look at it, or have a licensed mortgage professional take a look at it, so that they can tell you, hey, I need you to get rid of this, or we need to pay this off, or we need to do this. So Charles, I can give you a credit repair reference, but I do want to know if you've had the opportunity to speak with a lender, so that they can check on your actual credit for buying a house. All right, so back to the special gift that I want to extend out to you all today. All right, what I'm going to give you just for attending this webinar today, first of all, I'm going to give you the replay link to this webinar. So just for you stopping in and taking out the time, I understand you may have things that were going on that may have distracted you, and it may be a better time for you to watch this. I'm going to send you the actual replay link to this webinar. I'm not making it public, but I am going to send it to you just for attending. I briefly touched on the home loan assistance programs. I'm going to send you a complete list of these programs. So I tell you that they were over 30. I'm going to send you the actual list of them, and where you can go and see the requirements for them. All right. Next, I'm going to give you my personal loan officer information, so that they can do a free home loan credit check. Like I just mentioned in reference to Charles' question, is that you really want to have a loan officer look at your credit. By you looking on Experian or Equifax, and just or Credit Karma, I mean, you can see a score, or you can see a range, you can see your report, but again, it's not going to tell you what things need to be for an actual home loan. A home loan is different. Okay, so that's why I want to give you the contact information from my personal loan officer, so that they can do a home loan credit check. Lastly, for your attendance, I'm going to give you a free copy of my book, More Than Four Walls. This isn't an ebook, it's a real book that I wrote that really goes more in depth to a lot of the things that I said today. So I'm going to send you an actual free copy of my book. Okay. Now, if you want to get all of this stuff, you just have to do something very simple. All you have to do is visit this link on my website. So write it down if you haven't yet. It's chastinjmiles.com/freebies. And there's going to be a short form there for you to fill out. Okay. Once you fill that out, I'm going to send this stuff over to you. Okay. But I'm only going to send it to you if you fill it out. So if you're just attending the webinar and you don't want any of this information, I completely understand. And so I won't send it to you. I'm only going to send it to the people who fill out the form on this link. So chastinjmiles.com/freebies. All right. All right. So wrapping up here, I really appreciate you all for coming out and checking it out. If you still have questions, I will continue to answer them via text message. So you can text me your questions. Again, the number is 214-586-0096. And I will be here to answer any further questions by text message. All right. Really, guys, visit me on my social media channels. I publish new videos to YouTube multiple times a week about purchasing a home, about the process, about all things real estate. I'm not just one of those agents that just post property tours or information just about homes. I'm really trying to educate and be a resource to those who want it. So visit me on YouTube, subscribe to my channel. Also, if you don't have the time or even want to sit there and watch videos, if you have an iPhone, I have a podcast that is updated weekly on iTunes. Okay, just open up the podcast app on your iPhone and type in Chastin J Miles, and it will come up. And again, I publish episodes on there weekly, sometimes multiple times a week. All right. So I really appreciate you for checking it out. Hope you learned something today. If you did, please be sure to share the information with a friend or someone who may need it. Again, to go get those special gifts, you want to visit chastinjmiles.com/freebies. All right.